Welcome, visionaries. In this defining moment, we dive straight into the principles that separate mediocrity from mastery. This isn't just inspiration, it's a call to action, a blueprint for creating the life you were destined to live. Prepare to challenge your limits, redefine your potential, and step boldly into your power. Stay with me, because what comes next might just change everything. During 2019, we often find ourselves caught in a cycle of wanting things we believe will bring us happiness or fulfillment. Society teaches us to strive for more money, more recognition, more possessions. But what if those things aren't what we truly need? There is a vast difference between what we want and what we need, and understanding this can unlock a new level of clarity in our lives. When we look at the things we want, they often appear to be the solutions to our problems. We might think that wealth will bring us peace or that success will make us feel valuable. However, these are temporary fixes for deeper internal needs that we may not fully comprehend. Wants come from a place of external validation, societal expectations, or emotional desires. They promise us happiness, but they are not the source of lasting fulfillment. On the other hand, needs are rooted in the very core of who we are. Needs are not about acquiring something from the outside world. They are about transformation on a deeper spiritual level. The need for inner peace, self-love, self-worth, and genuine connection are the foundations of true happiness. These are the needs that drive us to grow, evolve, and align with our purpose in life. When we understand the difference, we begin to focus on the inner changes that bring lasting transformation, rather than chasing fleeting desires that may only provide temporary satisfaction. If you've ever found yourself feeling unfulfilled despite achieving everything you thought you wanted, it's because you were pursuing the wrong things. Achieving a goal or acquiring a possession may feel good momentarily, but if it's not aligned with your true needs, it will soon lose its meaning. Real fulfillment comes when we focus on fulfilling our emotional and spiritual needs, not when we collect trophies for external validation. The mind works in powerful ways, and it often convinces us that our wants are our needs. But the reality is that our subconscious beliefs shape what we believe we need, and they can be distorted by fear, doubt, and insecurity. When we are disconnected from our true self, we become obsessed with external solutions. But true clarity comes when we listen to our inner voice and align ourselves with what our heart and soul truly require. When we begin to live in alignment with what we need rather than what we want, we open ourselves up to a new way of being. This shift in focus allows us to let go of the anxiety and frustration that often comes with chasing desires that don't align with our true self. The more we learn to trust our intuition, the easier it becomes to discern the difference between superficial wants and the deeper needs of our soul. Imagine living a life where your inner peace isn't dependent on what you have or what you achieve. Imagine finding contentment not in acquiring more, but in accepting what is already present within you. This state of mind allows you to experience true freedom because you are no longer a slave to external circumstances. When you focus on fulfilling your emotional and spiritual needs, everything else falls into place. The more you learn to align with your true needs, the more naturally the external world will begin to reflect those internal shifts. True contentment comes when we shift our focus from external achievements to internal growth. No amount of material wealth, social recognition, or success can provide the deep sense of peace and fulfillment that comes from understanding and nurturing your true needs. This realization is often the turning point for many people who experience a profound transformation in their lives. There is no magic formula to achieving what you need. But the first step is to become aware of the difference between your wants and your needs. Begin by asking yourself, what is it that I truly require in order to feel whole? Your mind may try to convince you that you need something outside of yourself. But the truth is that everything you need is already within. The power lies in recognizing that the answers are not out there in the material world, but within the depth of your own heart and soul. Abihal. When you begin to honor your true needs, you step into a life of purpose and clarity. The anxiety of chasing external desires fades, and in its place you cultivate an inner sense of peace and balance. This is the foundation for creating a life that truly satisfies. Focusing on your internal needs doesn't mean that you no longer pursue your passions or dreams, but it does mean that you are grounded in your truth. You are no longer trying to fill a void with temporary fixes, but rather nurturing yourself in a way that brings real growth and fulfillment. By shifting your focus from what you want to what you need, you give yourself permission to live authentically. You stop seeking approval from others and instead learn to listen to your inner guidance. This journey requires courage and trust in yourself, but it leads to a life of freedom and inner strength. You will start to experience a deep sense of satisfaction that can never be taken away because it comes from within. End quote. As you grow in understanding the difference between your wants and your needs, the world around you will begin to shift. What once felt like insurmountable obstacles or unfulfilled dreams will become stepping stones on your path toward true fulfillment. There is a deep, often overlooked truth about fulfillment. It does not come from external accomplishments or possessions. So many of us spend our lives in pursuit of things we think will bring us joy, whether it's wealth, fame, or the perfect relationship. Yet, time and time again, we realize that these things, while exciting in the moment, do not provide lasting satisfaction. The root of true fulfillment lies far deeper than the material world can offer. It is found within, in the connection to our inner selves, our deepest desires, and our ability to align with our true purpose. True fulfillment is not something you can chase or accumulate. It is not found in the next promotion, the next car, or the next vacation. It comes from within, from the recognition that happiness and contentment are not external achievements but internal states of being. When we understand that fulfillment is a result of personal growth, self-acceptance, and inner peace, we begin to shift our focus from external goals to cultivating a mindset of gratitude, compassion, and authenticity. Many people search for fulfillment in the external world because they believe that accumulating more will fill the emptiness they feel inside. However, this emptiness is not a result of a lack of things. It is a result of being disconnected from what truly matters. We can only feel fulfilled when we nurture and honor our emotional and spiritual needs, which are far more significant than anything materialistic. When we focus solely on external success, we miss out on the deeper sources of fulfillment that are available to us at all times. Inner peace, self-love, a sense of purpose, and the joy that comes from authentic connection are the true ingredients of fulfillment. These qualities cannot be bought or obtained through external means. They must be cultivated from within. It is only when we turn our attention inward, focusing on our own growth and emotional well-being, that we begin to feel a deep sense of satisfaction with our lives. Understanding that true fulfillment is a state of being, not something you can acquire, is life-changing. It shifts the way you approach your desires. Instead of constantly striving for things that you believe will make you happy, you begin to understand that happiness is something that is already within you. It is your natural state when you are in alignment with your true self. When you make peace with who you are and embrace your own worth, you realize that external achievements become secondary to the deep sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing you are enough. It's easy to get caught in the trap of thinking that once we have this or that, we will finally feel complete. But this is a never-ending cycle, as each new goal or achievement only leads to the next desire. True fulfillment comes when you stop looking outside of yourself for validation and start looking inward, acknowledging the richness of your life that already exists within you. You realize that the fulfillment you seek isn't dependent on what you acquire or achieve. It is about how you feel, how you show up for yourself, and how you align with your own truth. One of the most powerful shifts we can make in our lives is realizing that fulfillment does not come from chasing external success. Instead, it comes from creating an internal environment that supports peace, joy, and a deep connection to who we truly are. When we focus on nurturing our emotional and spiritual health, we start to experience a kind of fulfillment that cannot be measured by material success. The last thing I want to share with you today is the importance of learning about relationships. This type of fulfillment is far more lasting and satisfying because it is rooted in authenticity, not in societal expectations or fleeting desires. As you begin to prioritize your internal well-being over external accomplishments, you will start to experience a profound sense of peace and satisfaction. The emptiness that you once felt will begin to disappear, replaced by a sense of wholeness that no external success can provide. You will feel more aligned with your true self, more at peace with the journey of your life. You will realize that you don't need to look outside yourself for happiness, because everything you need is already inside of you. Otherwise, this journey toward fulfillment is about recognizing that you are worthy of love, happiness, and peace, not because of anything you do or achieve, but simply because you are. It's about embracing yourself as you are without constantly striving to become something else. As you learn to love and accept yourself fully, you begin to feel more fulfilled and at peace. The external world may change, but the fulfillment that comes from within remains constant and unshakable. The minute you feel ready for fulfillment, you come between the label of suffering and fear. You begin to feel more fulfilled and at peace. There is a powerful force within each of us that shapes our reality, our beliefs. The way we perceive the world and ourselves dictates the outcomes we experience. The law of assumption states that when we deeply believe something to be true, it begins to manifest in our lives. It is not just about wishing for things or thinking positively. It is about embodying the belief that what we desire is already ours. This principle is rooted in the understanding that our inner world shapes our outer world. What we assume about ourselves, others, and the world around us has a profound impact on what we attract and how we experience life. Self-esteem. When we begin to understand the profound impact of our assumptions, we realize that we have the power to change the course of our lives by simply changing our beliefs. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that external circumstances are the determining factor in our lives. We often believe that our job, our relationships, or our financial situation define our worth and our future. However, when we start to assume that we are worthy of success, love, and abundance, these things begin to show up in our lives, not because we're chasing them, but because we have aligned our inner world with the reality we wish to create. The law of assumption works because it taps into the power of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is like a fertile garden, and our thoughts and beliefs are the seeds we plant. When we assume something to be true, whether it's about our abilities, our worth, or our potential, the subconscious mind begins to act on that assumption. It begins to seek out opportunities and resources that align with that belief, often in ways we can't predict or fully understand. The subconscious mind begins to seek out opportunities and resources that align with our beliefs. This process is not about force or effort. It's about aligning with a vision of yourself that is already whole and complete. One of the most significant aspects of this law is the understanding that what we believe to be true, whether it's positive or negative, becomes our reality. For instance, If you assume that you are destined to fail, your actions, thoughts, and decisions will reflect that belief. You will unconsciously make choices that reinforce your belief in failure, and your reality will match that assumption. On the other hand, if you assume that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of success, your mind will begin to seek out ways to make that assumption a reality. This doesn't mean that we simply ignore challenges or obstacles in our lives. On the contrary, it means that we approach life from a place of inner strength and conviction. When we truly believe that we are capable of overcoming challenges, we find solutions and opportunities that others may overlook. The power of assumption is not about avoiding difficulties. It's about approaching life with the mindset that no matter what happens, we have the strength and resources to handle it. The law of assumption also teaches us to live as though our desires are already fulfilled. When we start to believe that we already have what we want, we align our actions, thoughts, and emotions with that belief. This doesn't mean that we sit back and wait for things to fall into our lap. Instead, it means that we act with the confidence and conviction of someone who already has what they desire. For example, if you are seeking a new job, don't just wish for it. Assume that you are already in the perfect position and start to take actions that reflect that assumption. You may start preparing for interviews, networking, or researching the industry. Whatever actions align with your belief that the job is already yours. Number 1. In many ways, this is a shift in how we view ourselves. Instead of constantly striving to be good enough or worthy, we begin to operate from a place of abundance and self-assurance. We no longer feel the need to prove ourselves to the world because we know deep down that we are already enough. When we assume the feeling of success, we embody the energy that attracts success to us. Our energy becomes magnetic, drawing in the opportunities, people, and experiences that align with our assumptions. The more we practice the law of assumption, the more natural it becomes. Initially, it may feel like a stretch, especially if we've spent years doubting ourselves or believing that certain things are out of our reach. However, as we begin to change our assumptions, we start to see evidence of this law in action. Small victories and synchronicities begin to appear in our lives, and we start to recognize the power of our beliefs. The more we strengthen our assumptions, the more our reality shifts to match them. This principle applies to every area of life: relationships, career, health, finances. The law of assumption works because it taps into the universal truth that we attract what we believe to be true about ourselves. If we assume that love is abundant and that we are deserving of deep, fulfilling relationships, love will naturally flow into our lives. If we assume that money flows easily to us, opportunities for financial growth will present themselves. If we assume that we are healthy and vibrant, we will begin to make choices that support our well-being. See, in our lives, we often find ourselves chasing after things we think will bring us happiness, success, or fulfillment. We believe that once we achieve a specific goal or obtain a certain possession, our lives will be complete. However, this mindset can lead to misalignment, as we become so fixated on external desires that we lose touch with our true needs. What we think we want may not necessarily align with what is best for us in the long run. And this disconnect can lead to frustration, disappointment, and a sense of emptiness. The problem arises when we start to define our worth or happiness based on external achievements. We chase after material wealth, social recognition, or the approval of others, believing that these things will validate us and make us feel fulfilled. But in reality, these external goals are often fleeting. Once we achieve them, we are left with a temporary sense of satisfaction, only to find that the emptiness returns, pushing us to chase the next desire. This cycle of desire and temporary fulfillment can keep us stuck in a constant state of striving without ever reaching the true sense of contentment we are seeking. Being deep. This is where misalignment occurs. When we are so focused on fulfilling wants that do not truly serve our inner needs, we disconnect from our authentic selves. We start living for external validation, constantly seeking the next thing to fill the void. But the truth is that no amount of material success or social approval can ever fill that space. Only by reconnecting with our true essence and understanding what we truly need can we begin to break free from this cycle of misalignment. Wants often come from a place of external influence. We are conditioned by society, family, and peers to believe that certain things will make us happy. We may think that a larger house, a new car, or a better job will provide the happiness and fulfillment we crave. However, these desires are often rooted in comparison or competition, not in a deep understanding of who we are or what we truly value. When we base our goals and desires on the expectations of others, we are more likely to experience misalignment. The truth is that external achievements cannot create lasting happiness if they do not align with our core values and needs. True alignment comes from understanding what we truly need, not just what we want. Our deepest needs are often emotional, spiritual, and psychological in nature. We need love, connection, inner peace, purpose, and fulfillment. These needs cannot be met through external possessions or achievements. When we focus on our true needs, we create a life that is aligned with our authentic self. But we begin to attract experiences and opportunities that resonate with who we are, rather than chasing after things that leave us feeling empty once they are obtained. The key to overcoming misalignment is to slow down and tune into our inner selves. Instead of constantly striving for more, we must take time to reflect on what truly matters to us. What do we truly need to feel fulfilled? What brings us peace and joy? When we begin to answer these questions honestly, we can start to make choices that align with our inner values and desires. This may mean letting go of societal expectations or the pressure to keep up with others. It may mean redefining success on our own terms, rather than following a predetermined path that leads to superficial accomplishments. When we realign with our true needs, we experience a sense of peace and contentment that cannot be found in external accomplishments. We begin to see that true happiness comes not from acquiring more things, but from nurturing our emotional and spiritual well-being. We start to focus on what brings us joy, what aligns with our values, and what allows us to grow as individuals. This shift in focus can transform our lives, leading to a deeper sense of fulfillment that is not dependent on the validation of others or the accumulation of material wealth. But it is important to remember that wanting something is not inherently bad. Desires can be a driving force that pushes us to grow, achieve, and pursue our passions. However, when our wants become the driving force in our lives, they can lead us down a path of misalignment. When we focus too much on what we want, we risk losing sight of our true needs and what will truly bring us lasting happiness. The key is to strike a balance between our desires and our authentic needs. When we are in alignment with our true self, we can pursue our goals with purpose and clarity, knowing that they are aligned with who we truly are. Self-awareness is the foundation upon which all personal growth and transformation are built. It is the key that unlocks the door to clarity, understanding, and a more meaningful life. When we become truly aware of who we are, what we value, and what drives us, we gain a sense of direction and purpose that allows us to navigate the complexities of life with confidence and authenticity. Without self-awareness, we are often guided by external influences, societal expectations, and unconscious patterns that may lead us away from our true path. However, when we embrace self-awareness, we become the architects of our own lives, empowered to make choices that align with our deepest desires and values. At the core of self-awareness is the ability to observe ourselves without judgment. It is about developing an understanding of our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and recognizing the patterns that shape our lives. This practice requires honesty and vulnerability, as it involves acknowledging both our strengths and our weaknesses. Self-awareness is not about perfection. It is about being present with ourselves and recognizing our true essence. When we take the time to reflect on our actions, reactions, and internal dialogue, we create space for growth and transformation. This awareness allows us to break free from automatic behaviors and unconscious habits that no longer serve us, opening the door to new possibilities. As we cultivate self-awareness, we begin to notice the subtle ways in which our beliefs and assumptions influence our choices. Our thoughts, many of which operate in the background of our consciousness, shape the way we perceive ourselves and the world around us. These thoughts, often formed by past experiences, societal conditioning, and cultural norms, can either limit us or empower us. By becoming aware of these internal narratives, we can begin to challenge the beliefs that hold us back and replace them with ones that align with our true potential. Self-awareness gives us the ability to choose our thoughts and beliefs rather than being ruled by them. This shift in perspective allows us to step into our power and create the life we desire. Footnote: when we become more self-awareness, we also gain clarity about our emotions. Many people go through life without fully understanding the emotions they experience, and as a result, they may react impulsively or unconsciously. However, self-awareness allows us to observe our emotions with compassion and curiosity. Instead of suppressing or ignoring our feelings, we can begin to understand their root causes and learn how to respond to them in a healthy and constructive way. Emotions are powerful signals that provide valuable insights into our needs, desires, and boundaries. By becoming attuned to our emotional landscape, we can make decisions that are in alignment with our authentic selves, rather than being driven by reactive impulses. Martha Johnson. Being brave is little more than saying yes. One of the most profound benefits of self-awareness is the ability to align our actions with our values and purpose. Many people live their lives on autopilot, going through the motions without truly considering whether their actions are in line with what they care about most. Self-awareness gives us the clarity to examine our choices and assess whether they are helping us move toward the life we want to create. Let's jump right in. Let's talk about waking up. It allows us to evaluate our priorities and make conscious decisions that reflect our core beliefs. When we act in alignment with our values, we feel a sense of fulfillment and integrity that comes from living authentically. This clarity of purpose gives us the motivation and drive to pursue our goals with passion and determination. Self-awareness also enhances our ability to build meaningful relationships with others. When we understand ourselves deeply, we are better equipped to understand and empathize with others. We become more attuned to their needs, feelings, and perspectives, which fosters greater connection and trust. Additionally, self-awareness helps us communicate more effectively as we become more mindful of how we express ourselves and how we listen to others. Indeed, by cultivating a deeper understanding of ourselves, we are able to navigate relationships with greater compassion, respect, and authenticity. This leads to stronger, more fulfilling connections with the people who matter most. Blah, blah, blah. The journey to self-awareness is not always easy. It requires introspection, self-reflection, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves. However, the rewards are immeasurable. As we become more self-awareness, we develop a sense of inner peace and clarity that allows us to navigate life's challenges with resilience and confidence. We gain the ability to make choices that align with our true desires, rather than being swayed by external pressures or fleeting impulses. Number one, this clarity empowers us to create a life that is authentic, fulfilling, and in alignment with our deepest values. Trusting in divine provision is a deep and transformative belief that speaks to the core of our ability to surrender control and believe in something greater than ourselves. It is an invitation to let go of the constant need to force outcomes and to instead rely on the universal forces that guide us, providing what we truly need when we need it. This trust is not blind or passive. It is an active choice to align ourselves with the flow of life, to embrace uncertainty, and to believe that the universe is conspiring in our favor, even when the path ahead is unclear. At the heart of this trust is the understanding that we do not have to fight, scramble, or manipulate situations in order to receive what we need. When we trust in divine provision, we acknowledge that there is a natural order to life, a flow that moves us toward what we are meant to have and experience. While it can be difficult to surrender control, particularly in moments of uncertainty or fear, this act of trust frees us from the burden of constantly trying to figure everything out on our own. We realize that our role is not to force outcomes, but to align with the divine flow and trust that what is meant for us will unfold in its own time. In moments of doubt, we often forget that life has an innate intelligence. There is a rhythm to the universe that guides us toward growth, healing, and abundance. Trusting in divine provision requires us to believe that the universe has a plan for us, even if we cannot see the full picture. This trust does not require us to understand every detail or to know exactly how things will unfold. Instead, it calls us to have faith that, regardless of the circumstances, everything is unfolding in alignment with our highest good. Trusting in this divine provision allows us to release the need to control every aspect of our lives, and to accept that sometimes things don't go according to plan because something even greater is being prepared for us. It is easy to fall into the trap of worrying about the future, wondering how we will make ends meet, or questioning whether we will receive the support we need in times of hardship. However, trusting in divine provision encourages us to shift our focus away from fear and scarcity and to embrace abundance. When we trust that the universe will provide for us, we open ourselves to receiving the blessings that are already on their way. The act of trusting is an affirmation that we are worthy of receiving what we need, and this belief strengthens our ability to attract those things into our lives. This trust does not mean that we should sit idly by and wait for things to happen. It is important to take action, to pursue our passions, and to show up for our lives with intention and dedication. However, it means that we no longer have to chase after things out of desperation or fear. When we trust in divine provision, we begin to recognize that what we need will come to us in the right time and the right way. This belief brings peace and freedom, as we no longer feel the need to force outcomes or control every aspect of our journey. As we deepen our trust in divine provision, we begin to notice the synchronicities and blessings that are already present in our lives. The more we focus on gratitude and acknowledge the ways in which we have been supported, the more we open ourselves to receiving even greater abundance. The universe responds to our vibration, and when we trust that our needs will be met, we attract more of what we truly need. This process of alignment creates a harmonious flow of energy where everything we desire comes to us effortlessly and naturally. One of the most profound aspects of trusting in divine provision is the peace it brings. When we stop worrying about how things will turn out and simply trust that we are being taken care of, we experience a sense of calm and reassurance. This peace allows us to approach life with greater clarity and focus, knowing that we are supported and guided. Special concentration produces peace, and peace produces greater pleasure. Trusting in divine provision does not mean that challenges will not arise, but it means that we have the confidence to face those challenges with the understanding that we are not alone. We are supported by a higher power, and everything we need to overcome obstacles is already within us or on its way to us. Through this trust, we also cultivate a deeper sense of self-worth. When we trust that the universe will provide, we affirm that we are worthy of receiving all that we need to live a fulfilling and abundant life. This belief strengthens our sense of self and empowers us to take bold steps toward our dreams. It reminds us that we are not defined by our circumstances or external conditions, but by the inherent worth and potential that lies within us. Learning to trust in divine provision is a journey that requires patience, practice, and faith. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, and it may seem easier to rely on our own efforts rather than surrendering to the flow of the universe. However, as we continue to practice trust, we begin to see the evidence of divine provision in our lives. We recognize that we are always provided for, even in the most difficult of times, and that the universe is always working in our favor, even when it feels like things are falling apart. Okay, so